Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Tier 3 Showcase. My name is Bullskunk, joined by Ocean here in the booth, and today we are bringing you a little bit of a sneak peek at some of these teams as we approach the preseason for CGL's 7th iteration of the multi-tier tournament. Today we have Ignition and Defeato going at it for this first matchup. Ocean, what are your thoughts here coming into this?
Of course, Defeato were our Tier 3 champions of last season in the CGL multi-tier tournament, of course, the 6th edition of that tournament. And Ignition, has a couple of well-known faces around the console watch scene, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see these two teams with rebranded rosters go up against each other.
So once again, we are on the patch with the 3-second Diva boosters, and with that, I do expect to be seeing a lot of Reinhardt Diva here today. And so far out of the gate, that is going to hold true.
Yeah, definitely.
McCree as well. And interesting to see, we're seeing the Moira here out of both teams. Okay, it does look like Defeato is going to go ahead and opt for the, what we're seeing more in the Owl with the Ana Lucio, with Bearman sticking with the Moira over on this side of Ignition.
Definitely interesting. Moira, of course, has the higher healing output into multiple groups of players, whereas Ana has the higher individual healing, maybe looking to put more resources into their Reinhardt player, which is Raven.
Well, gates are open. Our Tier 3 showcase has begun. Looks like Ignition going right up into white section. They're going to wall off the Reinhardt. Good play coming out of that. They are going to get the opening pick here today with Raven going down. And that's one main tank back into spawn for Defeato. DPS not far behind, and it is going to be Ignition coming up with first capture here on Control Center.
Yeah, the Mei will catches out Raven immediately. Of course, they're running Honor, so they aren't able to actually really use their mobility to get the kills and pump it in to keep Raven alive. Maybe if they had the Moira, they could have kept Raven up, but unfortunately, the Honor can't shoot for the Mei wall, and they're unable to save their main tank and give them an edge in the fight.
Dark Matter coming up on the first ultimate here in the server as he's 92 towards that Deadeye. We're going to get Maywalls coming out from both sides, kind of denies a little bit of the entry from Defeato. They're looking to come back in, but it is Ile Zombies coming up with first pick and giving Defeato man advantage. Stone Wiz going to follow up with another as well, taking down that Reinhardt. No, they do trade out their Lucio, but we still have a 5-4 advantage here on the side of Danny and no main tank on the side of Ignition, excuse me. Nano who's coming out onto Raven as he goes in swinging. And they will get this thing flipped right back over here after some cleanup.
Yeah, it's definitely odd to see Ignition lose that first fight, especially when they've gained control of the point. They've gained control of multiple chokes, and they have the Mei, which is so powerful on Control Center to control these chokes. No pun intended with the Control Center, by the way. But Defeato just pushed through, and it seems also Defeato electing to hold deeper and not really utilize the choke with the Mei Volley. Definitely an interesting decision from them.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that conservative positioning, but they're going to come in and open up with a nice aggressive Blizzard, and that's going to find both the tanks on the side of Ignition. Is the follow-up going to be there? They're coming through with a nice shatter coming out of Raven, and 5 members of Ignition are laid flat on the ground. Now we're going to get a sound barrier coming out of Ignition to try to keep them alive. Good charge on the Bearman, but he's somehow able to escape with his life, and Defeato throws in a 3-man Diva Bomb. Airborne picking up the kills with that one, and that's going to enable them to hold strong here, and it looks like they are going to take an aggressive posture on the back of that.
Yeah, they used 3 ultimates for the fight win. However, Ignition also spent 1-2 ultimates, including that very vital Blizzard, usually your key item to win a team fight in this meta. They lose it in that fight. Of course, Defeato also expanding their Blizzard, so it's about even on the ultimate economy. Let's see what both teams can do.
Well, Super Haddock trying to go in early, but gets walled off and taken out. And now the rest of Ignition forced to try to push in without their main tank and also a man down. And that might be a little ill-advised as their Lucio drops Mei forced to ice block. And now the Ignition Mei caught in a very odd position, just able to squeeze out of there with her life. But in the end, it is Defeato looking in full control here. They are setting
Once you have this choke, the Mei can just hold so aggressively, and you have to play so coordinated to even get through. And even if you do get through, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to withstand the damage that you have with the McCree. Here comes the Deadeye, the Blizzard, and here comes the kills from Airborne. Bearman down, Super Haddock also down. It looks like Defeato are going to take Lijiang Control Center.
With time dwindling down, they were able to just throw everything in the kitchen sink at that door. Ignition didn't stand a chance getting through it.
Score.
Yeah, but look, that's what we get with that extended May hold at that choke. It is almost impossible for you to gain control of that choke again. Maybe when you go on the left and you get a wall off there when they try to rotate around to meet you there, but it just looked impossible for Ignition to even push through and even get a fight in.
It looked like they had such a good start. They were able to bait out the wall, and Danny Defeato's May wall did not cut anybody off. Super Haddock able to kind of put a toe in, bait out that wall, and back out. But then the Blizzard came in, and that just sealed the deal along with the other plethora of ultimates coming out of Danny Defeato. And now we are going into Gardens, and they've got a 1-0 lead. I'm sorry, Night Market here, forgive me. And Danny Defeato with a 1-0 round lead here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Both these teams running the Ryan Diva on this. However, both teams in Overwatch League usually come out with the double shield composition, so we'll see if there's any benefits to this.
Well, good starting main wall from Danny Defeato. They're able to find that kill onto Super Haddock. Dark Matter's going to drop as well. And just as quickly as this round started, Ignition's going back to spawn. Danny Defeato with control on the board. They're going to get that percentage started directly.
And again, you've got this choke control here on Night Market right through into, I'm not exactly sure what this little area is. This whole bunch of cherries. You've got another May choke. That is very, very powerful to use your May wall. Let's see if Ignition can get through it this time.
They're going to struggle as once again we're going to get that wall up from Wiz, dividing the team off. We did get somehow Ignition able to stave off the aggression and survive that onslaught despite being split in half. And now Danny Defeato's the one on the back foot. There are no kills coming through just yet. Oh, I spoke too soon. BK finds the kill in the back line onto Zombies. And we're going to get a coalescence coming out from Ignition as they look to push in here. Big charge coming from Raven as he tries to push through. He said, I've had enough, and I'm getting aggressive. He gets the kill onto Dark Matter. But meanwhile, back on the front line, I think the rest of Danny Defeato struggling to hold on here. It just kind of in shambles. We'll have to wait and see who's going to emerge victorious from this chaos. Blizzard coming out from Danny Defeato. This might just be the difference maker they're looking for.
Just a scrambly fight from both teams. Ignition doing well to survive through the May wall. They cut off so many of their team. And then Danny Defeato and Ignition just both scrambling, not really focusing on the same targets, not doing enough damage. Then the Blizzard is eventually invested from Defeato as well as the self-destruct, and they manage to eventually win the fight. But sloppy fight from both teams. Let's see if Ignition can pick it up and use their Blizzard to their advantage.
Ignition has that Earth Shatter online as well. As they're going to go around through the high ground this time, deny the May that easy roll. Oh! And the Shatter from behind. Raven right there with it. We're going to get Coalescence coupled with that, and with a little help from their Cowboy, they come up with a whole host of kills. And Danny Defeato looking very strong on the defense. What a play coming out of Raven there on the Reinhardt.
He was hiding underneath them. He knew they were going on the high ground, and they obviously directly beneath them. They just drop down. They do not know. And the Earth Shatter comes through. Speaking of Earth Shatters coming through, that's it.
It's a desperation play. He's barely able to squeak through the wall and get that Earth Shatter out. But that means the rest of his team is divided. Now Dark Matter is trying to carry this team on his back. He's got 3 kills already with the McCree. Turning his attention on to the Lucio. Lucio goes down big. 4K coming through from Dark Matter. And wow, carrying this team right now as they're able to get the Miracle Flip back over with a 99-0. An Ignition finally looking alive here on Night Market.
They finally get through the choke, get that massive shatter to get a lot of damage and a lot of pressure onto that Danny Defeato roster. They're backing up and scrambling. Dark Matter takes the space and picks up 4.
And maybe that kind of aggression is exactly what we need to be seeing out of Ignition here. Right now, they're taking this kind of defensive posture, just sitting on the point, waiting for. We are going to get a Blizzard coming out from Danny Defeato, coming off of the flank angle. Now the front line moving in. Zombie's going to go ahead and throw a Deadeye into the mix. That finds one. He follows up with a kill onto Super as well. No more main tank standing there for Ignition. And now Ignition trying to survive this. They're going to throw a Blizzard out in that vein as well as a Diva Bomb. And they've managed to get a couple picks, including the Reinhardt. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Danny Defeato bouncing back. And they are at 99% threatening to get control here. This is desperation time for Ignition.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to come back. They do get Super Haddock back on the point. He does get a kill onto Stone, but it's not going to be enough. Fairmount goes down as well, and it looks like Danny Defeato are going to take Lijiang Tower 2-0.
I love our team names. Well, Danny Defeato.
Oh, yeah, they just popped up.
Going up 1-0 here in our showcase matchup. Y'all stick around. We'll be back with map 2 for some more sneak peek action of these great rosters when we return in just a few moments.
Surrender to my will.
Wouldn't hurt my feelings to see some Pharah here on this map. Although I'm just a fan of our flying hero. It could be some wishful
I think
thinking.
we should have all heroes fly. I think Reinhardt should fly.
Give Reinhardt wings. I like it. I like it a lot.
Actually, have you seen the clip where Ding and Dong and Cameron pull off the Oasis city center carbines?
I don't think I have.
It is very, very interesting. You can make Reinhardt fly on that map. So, Reinhardt can technically
I have
fly.
seen that. They bubbled him or something and he goes flying.
Yeah, they bubbled him. Yeah, it's pretty good. Interesting to see the double shield on the defense being teased by Ignition on the offense. ZX is actually known for his Winston, so this makes sense for 5. And we're going to see the Wrecking Ball come out of Airborne.
Hello there. Hello.
So we're going to have a classic double barrier versus a little more new version of dive. I like it. I like it a lot.
Interesting to see the Zenyatta as well. So this is old school dive with new dive. So let's see how it works out.
Hello there.
Well, I'm excited to see this high mobility versus the extremely high sustain of that double shield. Of course, we are getting that McCree May on the defense as well. Were you going through on the far left, kind of looking for himself an opening here? He's going to go in and make his way up to the high ground. Get himself appear off this balcony, see if he can find himself an opening. And it's going to be the Wrecking Ball going in, initiating, going to drop right on the supports. And that's Ryu's cue as he goes jumping in as well. But it is Ryu himself who drops as Dark Matter finds that opening pick. Now Airborne is going to continue to try to keep the assault on, keep the pressure on. But he is sent back to spawn as well. Monkey not far behind. And the defense holds strong so far. Start us off here on Hollywood from Ignition.
Yeah, it was a very, very good engagement. They have the Wrecking Ball come in from Pile Drive from Airborne with the Seismic Slam ability coming in from DPS Ryu. Unfortunately, the Mei will block up all the sight lines so the healers cannot get into their, of course, engagement and get those heals into their DPS and tank players. They're making now a switch to Ryan, Zarya also going pre, Ana and Lucio, completely changing their composition to better approach this double shield. Let's see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, going for that slow and steady approach, and of course they are sacrificing a lot of ultimates to make that happen. Ally staying on the Tracer, holding on to that Pulse Bomb. It's going to be the only ult that they're going to have built up towards. But Ryu opening things up with a good pick onto the countering Cowboy, and a good anti comes in onto that tank line. Coalescence comes out from Ignition as well as that Lamp, the Immortality Field, keeping that team topped off. And now a fat shatter comes through as Haddock lays waste to the members of Danny Defeato. The follow-up is there, and the defense standing tall here for Ignition.
Yeah, Super Haddock looked really good on that run. We saw in the D9 tournament he looked pretty comfortable on that hero. And again, that's his second fat slam of the night. Also very interesting to know the support compositions of these teams. The Moira doesn't really require any LOS, just for anyone to be grouped up. Whereas Ana, again, requires LOS healing, and against the Mei, that has always kind of struck me as why they play the Ana in this composition. But more individual heals, if you can find that LOS to try and pump heals into that tank, or DPS is being walled off to try and keep them alive.
Now Danny Defeato's going to try to pass it on the backside, but the double damage comes through with the Fire Strike, and 3 kills fall. But Danny Defeato would not be outdone. ZX comes through with a few kills of his own, but in the end, the defense standing tall, and the tank line of Ignition is still alive and holding strong here on Hollywood Point. Hey, my goodness, that Fire Strike through the window, that was nuts.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in Overwatch League. Amplification Matrix, Halt, and the Fire Strike. And I'll be using the Supercharge very, very early. It's going to be difficult for them to get much value out of that. Here comes the Deadeye from Dark Matter. Does pick up one Coalescence. Well, picks up, of course, Slay here on the Reaper. And it looks like another quick fight win for the side of Ignition as ZX tries to scramble his shield around to live. They have the Blizzard and the Earth Shatter again for this, what seems to be final fight. It looks like it's been very, very difficult for Airborne to build up charge on this Zarya.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And they used that nano boost last second there to try to keep ZX in that last engagement. I think that's going to be one they're going to wish they had back. Once again, it looks like they're going to come back in, try to path all the way around, get the flank angle to the back of Mega. They're going to be running into an Earth Shatter and this Blizzard, like you said. We'll see how they are able to adapt, if they're able to defend against it. Oh, they try to come in with the flank Deadeye, but Ignition not to be caught off guard, puts up a nice wall, able to deny the value out of that ultimate, and here comes that Blizzard. We're going to get on as drops, ZX drops, and without a large source of healing and a large source of shielding, Danny DeFeato are going to find it tough to stay here, and indeed, it is going to be Ignition walking away with a full hold here on Hollywood.
Definitely odd to see them stick on this Zarya. Airborne wasn't able to build his Graviton Surge in 3 to 4 fights because he wasn't able to get any charge because he would bubble his Reinhardt. They would just stand firm behind their shields. He wasn't able to get any charge. And of course, once you have the charge, you have to find an angle around 2 shields, a Maywall, a McCree with Flashbang. You're not going to be able to get any value out of that hero. So confusing why they stayed on that hero for so long. Of course, he did switch to Zarya after the first fight, but it seemed like a bit of a misplay from Airborne.
And I can't help but wonder if maybe they should have stuck with the dive. I mean, the dive definitely had some promise, and I liked the coordination I was seeing. The timing coming out of Ryu and Airborne was very good on that initial assault. And you know, you go with what you feel is going to work best in the heat of the moment, but they ran into a brick wall with that Ryan Zarya, that's for sure. And that brick wall's name was Ignition.
Well, actually, it was double shield. Ignition were playing the double shield, so we'll give you a pass for that one.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Well, now
it's going to be interesting for now to see Navi on Zarya, a hero that they look kind of weak on in the D9 tournament. Let's see if they have improved here for this Tier 3 showcase. And on the defense, it's a bit similar, double shield.
Well, of course, Ignition just need that precious 33% off the back of that fantastic defense. And sticking with this Moira. And so far, it seems to be working for him. This little caveat that they're throwing into the meta, but able to get a lot of solid healing across the whole team, and they're doing a good job of staying clumped up and staying together, getting good value out of that healing. Gates open. Ignition's assault is underway. Maywald start things off, I think, just to buy them a little space, try to get through the initial choke. See if they can get some ground here. Haddock whittled down super low, just barely able to get his shield up in time, and that extra heals from the Moira coming in big right there. You see he's trying to push in, and Navi opening things up with 2 big picks. Maywald comes out to separate the team. Focuses the attention of Ignition right out of that Moira. She's able to fade away, but the Orisa not so lucky. And this snowball will eventually roll in, and we have a tie game here, folks. I think Ignition has absolutely slammed this thing home.
Yeah, really, really weird play from Danny DeFeato. They get the wall off onto Super Haddock, the Reinhardt on the side of Ignition. ZX goes in towards to try and get that kill. They put a lot of resources to try and get the kill, but they don't get anything. Only half the team is trying to engage on that Reinhardt, engage on that Maywall. They lose all those resources, and Ignition are like, oh, you just used everything. I'm coming in hot. And they came in hot, and they took Hollywood.
Well, and again, this roster Danny DeFeato just built within the last week, and you can definitely see that they're just not quite on the same page yet. But hey, that's part of what we're here to check out. And we'll see if they can bring it back together, break this tie as we head into Map 3 when we return in just a few moments. Welcome back. We are headed into Map 3 of our Tier 3 showcase this evening. Matchup between Ignition and Danny DeFeato. And we are all tied up here at the half. Heading into Temple of Anubis, going to sunny Egypt for our assault map this evening. Did we have any subs going into Map 3, Ocean?
Yes, Defeato again using their heavy roster that they brought to this matchup. Stone is coming back into the lineup, and he's replacing Zombies, so they're not running the same DPS line again. They're mixing it up, kind of like Toronto Defiant did. Will it bite them like Toronto Defiant did? Also, Raven comes in for Airborne, so we see our third tank line rendition as well coming out of Danny DeFeato. What are your thoughts on mixing it up like this?
Well, it's early in this roster, but this is not something unusual even for the seasoned Danny DeFeato roster. We'd see them swap out their tanks, even swap out the roles within, where you'd see 3 maps and 3 different tank lineups coming out, and all 3 would be strong and have their strength within those. Far coming out of Ignition here on the side. I'm sorry, out of Danny DeFeato here on the side of the defense. Color swap almost got me there. Matter of fact, let me make sure I've got the right names up there for you folks at home.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Defend objective A.
I've got you. Commence combat operations.
Which Ignition gonna go ahead and swap off that Hanzo. They were looking for an early pick initially. Dark Matter going back on over to the McCree. And they are gonna stick with this meta comp with Bearman on the Moira. Webhead opening things up for Danny Defeato. They're getting a nice ante and they're gonna find the Lucio, but they lose far in the process. So 5v5 here on the objective. Res coming through for Danny Defeato as they are back at a full 6 strength. Now it does look like Ignition trying to just go right up the gut. Nothing too fancy here. But they're stalling out a little bit right before the choke, despite getting a nice pick onto Ryu on that Junkrat. Alright, they said now's the time. Cooldowns are ready to go. Here they go. Wall is up. Dividing off that Reinhardt. Good nade coming out from their Ana. And we're going to get an early barrage comes out. That finds 2, but the fire goes down in turn, and Dark Matter responds back. Picking up a pair. Make that 3 kills of his own. And it is going to be Ignition picking up first point here on Anubis.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
Well, fire goes down super low, and Haddock eats a mine before he can even get through onto the bridge, and that shuts down the snowball right then and there. Denies that entry. Wall comes up as it looks like Ignition was trying to stall out up here, but the aggression from Danny Defeato is going to force them back. This has given room for Danny Defeato. Yeah, Danny Defeato able to build a few ults as well. That tire did come out and find the Lucio, so we are back at a 5v5. But nevertheless, Ignition going to go ahead and try to push this thing home. Dark Matter still with that dead in his pocket. They've got Blizzard as well as Earthshatter. Earthshatter comes out early. Looks like it got blocked by the wall. Great play coming out of Stone Wiz there. Deny the value off of that ultimate. Dark Matter picking up the flank from Ryu on the side, and now Ignition trying to push on to the point. Though the Mei goes down with that Blizzard. And that was the ticket they needed to solidify this point. And I think with that Mei gone, that's going to shut down the hopes of this assault.
Right beside you.
I think they were absolutely counting on that Blizzard, and once the Mei went down, they just had no response. They were kind of just left hanging there. Oh, and a double kill with the mine. Ryu doing them dirty. Oh my goodness. And this defense from Danny Defeato looking so strong, just winning these fights before they even begin. And Ryu almost back up to yet another tire as Danny Defeato not having to spend any of these ultimates to stay in this and to hold ground here on Temple of Anubis. Dark Matter with... Dead. Dark Matter just got scared off. He's waiting by the front door while the front line pushes all the way around left. Here comes the Graviton Surge, and they're going to find 2 kills on the back of that. Maywall does come out. We did get a DC on the side of Danny Defeato, and that is most unfortunate. As this fight is breaking out, we're going to have that Coalescence coming out on the side of the offenses. Ignition looking to push in here. They're going to get the kill onto that Supercharger and claim their space here on this objective. As that progress is starting to pick up. 1 tick picked up, and we will go ahead and get a pause, see if we can get that main tank back in. And here we go. Let's see where that tire's going. Comes over the wall. Does not seem to find much. This was denied off by a Maywall coming out of Ignition. Bearman's going to pick up a kill onto Anexi, and that takes off a massive chunk of healing for Danny Defeato. Now they're coming back on the stall characters. Wrecking Ball and Diva coming into the mix here. And they are going to find that pick onto Super, but Dark Matter answers right back. The DPS duo of Fire and Dark Matter able to pick up a couple kills. Now we're going to get that Deadeye coming out. Doesn't seem to find much. Perhaps just a little bit of a zoning Deadeye. They don't need much. 85% on the board here for Ignition as they're looking to close this thing out. Kill comes on to the Junkrat, and the mech gets taken away from the Diva. But nevertheless, somehow, ZX able to come through, find himself a kill onto that Zarya, and the respawn advantage for Danny Defeato allows them to stabilize. Man, how...
All systems checked out.
Yeah, no follow-up there on that Blizzard. And now Bearman's going to pick up a kill as well as a BK Ross, and they have got themselves, at this point, locked down with 54 seconds in the time bank. 2 points on the board there for Ignition.
Score 0-2. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Well, Ignition have definitely set the win condition here. As they're going on the defense, hoping they can take a 2-1 lead here in our showcase match.
Ready for battle.
Looks like it, in the name of defending, Ignition is sticking with that composition, though we are seeing one slight caveat here. We're going to get... Yeah, we got the Mercy Baptiste in the support lineup here for the defense.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Forward, my friends!
Enemies here.
Yeah, the heals were there, able to keep Raven topped off through that. And that was good heads-up play from the support line, Danny Defeato, and that's going to enable them to push in. They've got 2 kills on the board here, and they're looking to clean up. The Reinhardt getting rezzed up on the side of Ignition, trying to hold up on the defense. That Fortify coming out of a reset is not going to be enough to keep our 4-legged friend alive, and it is going to be Danny Defeato coming up with point A here on Temple of Anubis.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
Oh, and they got that Maywall out early. I think this needs to be Danny's cue to push in. And here they go. DPS, Ryu going out into the middle with that Reaper. Trying to turn his attention onto the Orisa, but gets picked off. Dark Matter right there ready for him and gets the headshot. Follows it up with a nice kill onto a Nexi. And Ignition have held on here on the defense. Yeah. A few more seconds. Danny Defeato's going to have a full 6-pack online and ready to go. They're struggling to get into that left flank. Once again, an early wall comes out. We'll see if they're able to better utilize this opening here. We're going to get that amplification matrix coming out from the defense, as well as a blizzard. As Ignition is going to go ahead and try to throw everything at this. Stone Wiz able to come up with the goods, though, as Danny Defeato, the one's coming back, and then Raven stays there patiently, drops the Earth Shatter down, levels the Orisa, and they have opened up the defense wide on the back of that. Some great play coming out of the May from Stone Wiz. Yeah, looks. I think Danny Defeato spent a lot of their ultimates early. We did see that Death Blossom come out late from Ryu, but it was very late, not in time to really have an impact on that engagement. And now Danny Defeato returning with just the Diva Bomb in their pocket. Good news for them, though, they still have quite a bit of time up there. Yes, Super had made the swap over to the Wrecking Ball, and that gave up his Reinhardt ultimate. Now we've got Danny Defeato pushing back in once again, utilizing that flank, as they have good positioning here on the objective, but they've got to keep their Reinhardt alive, and they're not able to do that. The Blizzard's there from Ignition, and that absolutely shuts this thing down. DPS Rio doing his best to try to keep Danny Defeato in this, but in the end, Ignition are in full control as they swarm over the members of Danny Defeato like a flock of bees here.
Get behind the barrier.
And I think bees come in swarms, not flocks. But you know what? You just have to bear with me. That's okay. That's okay. And like you say, Danny Defeato, they're nice. This time they're going to go up through that right side. They go ahead and get the Blizzard out early, take care of the Immortality field, and now they're looking to put pressure onto the subjective. Stone Wiz able to find 2 kills, open things up. Ryu comes up with one of his own, and Danny Defeato are controlling the pace here in this engagement, as all of the kill feed is lighting up blue, and they're going to get some progress started here on point B. I think that sound barrier is going to be clutch, as we are going to get that Earth Shatter coming out from Super Haddock on the other side. Nevertheless, Danny Defeato able to weather the storm, survive the onslaught, and they're going to keep progress going, 42% and counting. Just about 1:45 left on the clock. Here comes that Blizzard out from the other side. It gets eaten! Gobbled up by ZX, and that's the last ultimate that Danny Defeato had to worry about. It should be smooth sailing from here as long as they can stay on top, find these cleanup kills. Immortality field coming out from Ignition as they try to not let that happen. Freeze going on to that Hog. Hog is down. Danny turning their attention on the Baptiste. Baptiste sent back to spawn. Now it's on to that Wrecking Ball one by one. Danny Defeato eliminating this respawn advantage coming through from Ignition. 2 ticks picked up. Buck 20 left on the clock. Blizzard comes out from the offense, and Danny Defeato will take this thing home with about 25 seconds, or 20 seconds more in the clock than their opponents.
Score 2-2. Switching sides. Initiating match.
And pretty darn close in time, only 20 seconds separating these two teams. It's going to come down to who can put up the better defense, who can have the more aggressive and explosive offense. So we have 60 and... Yeah, we have 60 and 80 seconds respectively. And it will be Ignition starting us off on the defense here. Stone Wiz going back over to that Junkrat. It is Defeato on the defense. Don't let the color swaps fool you, folks.
For the superiority of ideas.
It's color swaps, man. Those color swaps, they will get you. They will get you.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I still say just give us a script where we can determine which side's attacking first.
Defend objective A.
I think that would solve a lot of problems. But forgive my confusion, viewers. We do have Danny Defeato on the defense. Stonewiz on this junk right here. Ryu on the Mei. And they are opting for this double shield composition. And look at their positioning here. They're very conservative hold, very defensive stance coming out of Danny Defeato. As the members of Ignition coming in kind of in a staggered form. I think they tried to teleport onto the back of the objective utilizing dark matter on that sim and got separated.
Holding position. Seconds remaining.
Yeah, and that's a large source of their healing gone. Good Maywall coming up to separate Super Haddock, keep him from retreating out. And Danny Defeato holding very strong. Stone is going to go ahead and invest that tire in, deny that. Overtime Wick is burning down. And there'll be no progress on the objective here for Ignition.
3 complete. Score 2-2. Switching sides. Initiating match.
Well, they have just 80 seconds to do it in. What did we talk about doing math on stream? Never do math on stream, folks. All right. Don't do math. All right.
Attackers incoming.
I like it.
in 30
I like it.
seconds.
I actually had a lot of family members that are teachers or were teachers. A lot of teachers in my family tree. I respect that, actually. Absolutely is.
5, 4,
On the side of the defense, looks like Ignition bringing us that double shield composition as well.
Attackers incoming. Defend
Similar setup to what we
objective
saw from Danny Defeato, but Dark Matter is going to stick with that McCree here. For Danny, they are coming in with that Mei Reaper. As you have Ryu going on to our favorite cloaked hero. Early Maywall comes up, doesn't seem to have much success. As Danny Defeato able to just easily walk around it. Oh, Fire Strike comes out and gets the opening pick. Fire goes down, no pun intended there. And as ZX able to find a kill as well. Raven swinging for the fences, just going full aggression, finding anything that will fall to his axe, and that will give Danny Defeato the 2-1 lead as they pick up Temple of Anubis.
Play of the game. Double kill.
We'll be back with map 4 in just a few moments. Y'all don't go anywhere. Oh, welcome back, my friends. We are here with the Tier 3 Showcase matchup between Ignition and Danny Defeato. A little bit of a sneak peek as we are heading into our 7th iteration of the multi-tier tournament from CGL. Getting a little bit of a preview of these rosters here. We will be heading into Junkertown for our escort map. I know I think the coronavirus kind of took world stage over national disasters there for the wildfires going on in Australia. But I hope all of our little furry friends are recovering okay over there.
Do you just call all Australians furry?
I was referring to the animals, but you know,
Oh,
the people too.
that got completely lost on me.
No, our furry little koala friends.
Koalas are quite cute.
That's what you need to take away from that. There you go. That was a nice little timing pun there for you. Just wanted to throw that out there. It'll make sense in the VOD. No, I was just zoomed in on the sign that said take away.
30 seconds.
And a big picture of a koala.
Don't think Stone will stick on the Torbjorn, but also the defense. Ryan Zarya.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah, we are getting that Ryan Zarya coming out. Seeing our Russian tank on the board here in this meta can be quite difficult to utilize. Excited to see this Torbjorn on the field. We'll see if Stone able to find some value here. As it looks like the defense in Ignition just sitting up on the high ground for now, content to kind of poke down on the members Danny Defeato and Ryu opening things up strong with a nice pair of headshots and subsequent kills. Good two-man advantage for them here on the offense. And it looks like they are just strolling right along through point A.
Yeah, they take the fight really, really quickly. DPS Ryu, bonking 2 heads. They got a first. DPS Ryu. Yeah, the hints in the name. DPSing the entirety of that back line. And it looks like the Defeato are just going to storm through point A.
Yeah, very little resistance coming out of Ignition on that defense. Although Ryu did not give them much choice as he opened things up with 2 shots and 2 heads. And that just spelled doom, made it easy breezy there for Danny Defeato on that offense.
Yeah, back to meta for the Ignition players here as they go to the McCree composition. Sticking on the Zarya though. Let's see if XW can get some of that charge built up and maybe get on the Raven and Airborne and get a little bit more damage pumped into those tanks.
Dark Matter ate a sniper shot, was as low as 2 health before finally getting topped off as the Lucio came back around to heal up our Cowboy. Now we're getting Coalescence coming out of the defense here as they're looking to hold on point B, but they still have to contest with Ryu up on the high ground with the infra sights out. Ryu's going to get that kill onto Dark Matter, but falls as Fire gets a nice icicle from across the map. Nevertheless, back on the front line, we had Coalescence coming out from Danny Defeato, and it is full steam ahead for this squad as they are setting the pace here on Junkertown.
I like how Defeato used that infrasight. They used the infrasight to scope out when these Ignition tanks were engaging around the corner. They see them coming around. Here comes the Mold Core from the Torbjorn. And it looks like that might be enough to send them through point B. The May wall from Fire actually rolling off his own T, but they might not be able to touch because of that. But here comes a shatter from Super Haddock, and I think they do get the touch, and they will potentially get into this fight. They will actually clear up the rest of Defeato.
Oh, and with less than a meter to go, they're on the end of point B. We had some aggression coming out of Raven. He looked to go into that far left side and hold the members of Ignition in that hallway, using his Earthshatter in the process. I think he got walled off and just absolutely pounced upon, and that opened the door for the retake coming out of Ignition. Able to put up a big stand here. And look at these ultimates. Ignition with 4 of them online. They are in a good position to make a strong hold once again here on point B. 3:30 on the clock here for Danny Defeato as they're going to go in through a nano boost onto the Reinhardt, and he goes cleaving into the front line. We're going to get the Diva Bomb coming out, and Airborne finds 2 with that fantastic ultimate. Ryu has swapped around over to the flanking high ground as we got Sound Barrier coming out of Ignition. There's 3 members left trying to hang on for dear life, and now it is just the supports, and Danny Defeato will get this point B capped.
Yeah, huge bomb coming out of Airborne, picking up 2. But the main issue here for Ignition is they have nothing to get onto this Widowmaker. Ryu is just sitting on high grounds, and I mean, Dark Matter and Fire just don't have the resources available that they did when they had the Mercy to potentially, you know, actually duel Ryu on those high grounds. It's very, very difficult for Dark Matter. Maybe on this more linear point C, Ryu will struggle against Dark Matter, but it's been a really easy duel for the Danny Defeato DPS so far.
We're going to get Stone throwing down that Molten Core, and that is going to find the kill onto Super, though he does sacrifice himself in the process. Fire drops as well. In the end, it is Danny Defeato with a massive man advantage. Once again, Ryu on this high ground, raining death from above. And, I mean, Navi, I think this Graviton Surge has almost become a detriment. I can't help but feel that Navi is looking for a good opportunity and waiting to swap because of this ultimate. But without a Diva, they have nothing to contest this sniper.
Yeah, it's not good to stand the Zarya here. Dark Matter goes down to Ray again because he was just sitting on the high ground. He is uncontested. Graviton Surge comes through from Navi, and nothing comes of it.
They found one kill. They got a Nixie with it, and that's a large source of the healing for Danny Defeato. But Ryu on this sniper, still just completely uncontested and having his way with the members of Ignition on the end of point B here, finding 2 quick kills there.
Ignition still have Blizzard and Earthshadow, and they have to get those ultimates off, otherwise it is done. It is over for the side of Ignition, but they do get the Blizzard off. Reinhardt, Frozen Raven, does get the resources to keep him alive. Ryu is still on the high ground, though. He needs to be dealt with Xylia and Raven following. I think Ignition will finally hold here on Junkenstein.
Yeah, Super with a nice Earth Shatter amidst that to help solidify it. And that sealed the deal. And finally, where they're able to hold off the massive amount of momentum coming from Danny Defeato. On the side of Danny, go ahead.
Yeah, spamming the Dorito is helping Defeato right now, but can spamming the bin to help Ignition win work out for them. Ultimates on both sides. This is a key fight between the Graviton Surge and the Airborne Diva, and then the self-destruct. Let's see how the ultimates come out. Here comes the core and the self-destruct. Nothing comes out of them but 2 kills from the DPS, and make it 3. Graviton Surge comes a bit late for Ignition. It looks like Danny Defeato are going to rule through the entirety of Junkenstein.
Yeah, either team with any ultimates left. Stall coming out from Ignition, but they're not going to get back in time. And there will be just under 2 minutes in the time bank there for Danny.
Score.
Yeah, I mean, Ignition just never really got off of the Zarya that they really needed to. They didn't have anything to contest the Widowmaker. Dark Matter just did not have enough resources to even look at Ryu on the high ground. And it seems just like a mismatch of communication, swapping strategies, mid-map, and maybe a failure to admit that their strategy is not going to work has cost Ignition here on Junkertown so far.
Yeah, and I stand by what I was saying during that map. Just I can't help but feel that Graviton Surge became a detriment. I mean, if they made that swap to Diva early point B, you know, I think they would have. We would have a different result right now. At the very least, there'd be a lot less time on in the bank there for Danny.
Yeah, and they still didn't even swap. They didn't even swap the Diva for the stall.
No, they never did. They never came off that Zarya, did they? Well, now it's Danny's turn to go on the defense. So far, showing
I don't
us
like what I see on the offense. I don't like it.
traditional pirate ship.
Well, it's actually not traditional anymore. It's a double shield. We used to run the Orisa Diva back when Orisa had 900 health shield, and the Diva had a little bit of a better matrix. And those used to be the only resources you needed to protect your bastion.
See, I always thought the original pirate ship was both. That pirate ship had 2 sails. That it was one of the very first uses of double shield was the original pirate ship. Although I could be mistaken. I could be getting my wires crossed. I'd certainly trust your judgment on these things, Ocean. You got the big brain as far as the memory on all this stuff. That's for sure. Hey, either way,
the big brain.
I stand by that. Either way, it is going to be Ignition, full steam ahead here, sailing the seas with their pirate ship. We'll see if Danny can find an answer for it. Airborne going to go ahead and take out that immortality field, but that's all they're able to find here so far.
What is this? I don't like this. Rhino's just shielding the back, Orisa at the front, and just sandwiching their poor little bastion as Ignition try to engage.
When it looked like Danny was trying to surround them and see if they could kind of pounce on them from all sides, but in the end they were not able to get past that shielding, and they just get absolutely decimated by dark matter in that bastion.
Airborne on the Baby Diva manages to take out fire though in the backline. Stone's still in the backline as well. He's killed Bikaras, but they never contested point A, and they just lose it eventually as
yeah,
well.
And a little bit of a miscommunication there. You can see Danny attempted to kind of jump down at the last second, but the point had already been capped. These are the kind of things that they're going to hope to iron out here before we get started on March 16th.
Definitely.
Well, as it is, Ignition does have that Bastion Ultimate online coming up on a Blizzard. They've got the amplification matrix in their pocket as well. On the side of
I
the
like the
defense.
Hanzo switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the Hanzo switch indeed. Try to find an answer to that Bastion, see if they can find an opening. Because that Raven's shield, that Reinhardt shield is not going to last long. Oh, tried to throw the Earthshatter down. Does find the Mei with it, but the Orisa able to get that shield up to deny that Earthshatter reaching the Bastion. And they do get the res on that Mei. Now here comes the Torbjorn with the Molten Core. And the Molten Core might have been just the ticket they needed, as it completely cleaned off the objective. Ryu comes up with the kill onto the Bastion. And that was the ticket. Answer from Danny Defeato, and they found it, well, not a moment too soon, as they put up a hold here on point B.
The timing of that engagement was so critical for Defeato. Raven comes in with the Earthshatter, forces him around the corner to where the Ant Matrix is in a position where Dark Matter can't shoot the enemy team if they hug the wall. And if that Halo was around the corner, if that engagement was any later from Raven, Dark Matter obliterates the rest of Defeato with that amplification matrix. Sticky obliterates an obliteration. Airborne with the 2K self-destruct, and Defeato with another quick fight win.
And that's a great job by the Danny Defeato defense there, just eating more time off that clock, able to build back a little bit towards this ult disadvantage, kind of come back on that a little bit, as they did spend a lot to dislodge this pirate ship, and now you can see Ignition. 5 ultimates online, ready to go, having spent only that amplification matrix. Dark Matter getting set up here at the front of the street. Taking a little bit of fire from Airborne, but not enough to threaten him. As we're getting a little bit of a stalemate, and we'll see who's able to break this off momentarily. Advantage definitely to Ignition here. Can Danny Defeato survive the massive amount of ultimates that's about to come their way?
Yeah, but Ignition are struggling to get their Bastion set up. They finally do get Dark Matter set up. He goes for the configuration tank there, so again, he's not set up in that sentry. For Defeato, again, have just time. They can run around the card as much as they want, as long as they don't send that Bastion sightline. It's really difficult for him to get set up.
And Defeato absolutely playing this perfectly as they surround the Bastion, denying any value out of that tank configuration ultimate. He cannot find a solid target to shoot at the moment. He looks at one, they pick back around. And now, as this fight has drawn out, Ignition thriving in the chaos and finally able to get some kills going. Danny Defeato looking to try to stay alive here. Oh, I spoke too soon! Raven able to get a kill, Airborne able to find the kill onto that Bastion as well. And it looks like Danny Defeato, in fact, may have done it and stabilized here on the objective. Indeed. Great defense coming out of that team.
Ignition were never able to get set up, and Defeato just didn't have to do anything. They were just running around shooting things. That's all they had to do. And then when Ignition used all their resources to get set up, they're like, well, we have resources too, and they just slapped him up, slapped him across. The kills from Ignition didn't matter, and Danny Defeato hold on point B on Junkertown.
Ignition spent a lot in that engagement. They are coming back with that amplification matrix coming out now. Now the Diva Bomb in response, as well as Molten Core on the side of the defense. Blizzard out from Ignition, and it does manage to catch 4 members of Danny Defeato, but that Molten Core is denying him from getting in and following up. Now they do find a kill onto onto Raven, but they lose fire their Mei in the process. Now we're getting that damage window coming out from the defense. You see Ryu right up in their faces with that Hanzo, trying to make something happen. He's going to go in and invest his dragons, dropping it right over the objective, finds the headshot onto the Orisa. And this is a great start here. As this fight draws out, it looks more and more like Danny Defeato.
Really dodgy place. Ignition are going to get staggered hard here.
Yeah, Danny Defeato in a great spot right now. Raven over there putting pressure on the rest of the team as Ryu cleans up the supports that were hiding behind him.
Navi finally making switch to Diva. Didn't do it last round, does it this round. Maybe DPS Ryu, and so will actually get contested now that they have the Diva and the free space to realize that, but it won't matter if your main healing resource B cards goes down on the Moira Stone. Is looking really good on this Torbjorn, but he's getting chased around.
Oh.
Maybe getting a little bit too cheeky over there. 2 support ultimates, both support ultimates here for Ignition to engage, but a flurry of ultimates ready for Defeato.
Yeah, including that Molten Core that Stone was able to build up in his very brash attack there. He does lose his life in the process, but I'm not sure that stagger is gonna matter. Super goes in and falls to the turret. Now we're getting that Earthshatter out from the other side. No shield to block against it. 3 members fall. Ooh, he gets whittled down low, though. The nice play coming out of Dark Matter. Able to just barely fend off the Reinhardt. But in the end, it is this defense just eating up more and more time. Just 10 seconds on the clock. One last chance here. Can Ignition make anything happen here on this offense? Danny Defeato.
They're going to struggle.
5 seconds to keep themselves alive in this. All right, they're going to get in. They're going to get the touch. You got Dark Matter on the cart. And they've gotten the kill onto Stonewiz once again. But we do have that damage window up for the defense. Fire finds the pick onto Ryu. And that's a really good start. Dealing with that Hanzo had to be first priority for this team. Now they're going to go ahead and throw that Deadeye into the mix. And they do have a few man advantage here. And it looks like Ignition will survive for another engagement here.
Yeah, but they only actually they have a lot of ultimates to work with, and it really looks like they can capture point B finally after Danny Defeato's critical engagement on the corner stopped their pirate ship composition. They were unable to stabilize after that, but Defeato will come back here. Actually, they're not going to be able to touch. I think Ignition will cap for point B here.
Three of them jumped out to touch. The DPS were in position. And Airborne eats that Blizzard. That was Ignition's ticket to punch this thing home. Now we're going to get Diva Bomb coming out from the defense as Dana Defeato are looking to put up a real fight here in the back of this dueling coalescence coming out from both sides. As it is just pure chaos in this objective. Airborne is frozen up, whittled down really low. And Ignition do emerge victorious there with some good play coming out of that Mei and that Moira.
Yeah, they do keep themselves in it. Apologies, I did not think Defeato were going to be able to contest that. I also didn't think it was going to be advised for them to contest it, but let's see what Danny Defeato could do with their Earth Shatter in the next fight. We saw them engage beautifully around the corner with it on point B. Can they do the same to help them stabilize here? There is a very powerful corner here on the right at it now. They want to hold here, but DPS really going down. They might have to back off and get rid of those plans.
We're going to get Wall Diva Bomb come out from the other side. Ignition looking to not allow them to retreat and regroup. The bomb only found equipment there, but the members of Danny Defeato kind of on the back foot here. You can see Raven frozen up. Able to stay alive. Great Moira Orb, great awareness coming from the support line of Danny Defeato. And Raven not going down just yet. Oh, I spoke too soon. The Blizzard comes out. The Blizzard finds both tanks. Both tanks sent back to spawn as well as their Baptiste. And with that source of healing god, Ignition are full steam ahead, and they're looking to take this thing home. 20 seconds on the clock. Are Danny Defeato going to be able to contest?
Yeah, they've got the Molten Core Earth Shatter ready to go, but Super Haddock on the Reinhardt picking up 2 kills on the side of Danny Defeato. They're not able to do much now. DPS really does get a kill, and 1 kill on these staggering defense fights is usually enough. But I don't think it will be time. Super Haddock and Navi trying to clean up. Here comes the self-destruct. It's not going to be enough.
Self-destruct used just to push it home, though Ignition with about a third of the time left in the bank that Danny Defeato have on the clock right now.
Yeah, and of course, it doesn't really matter if you're running that pirate ship composition. Most of that is just the first fight. Can you get set up, and can you get ready to go get the pirate ship set up? Because if you get it set up, you're most likely going to at least roll for point A and a lot of point B. And if you don't, you're in a lot of trouble because you're switching compositions and you're coming up against some ultimates on the opposite side. Whereas you're running the composition that Defeato are sticking with, they've got a lot of time just to go kind of plan, articulate, and make sure they get the right ultimate strategy to play into their hands so they can take this map. It's going to be very interesting to see what both compositions go for.
Well, I think Ignition might be sticking with this pirate ship out of the gate. At least that's what they're showing us so far, that they do still have 25 seconds to change their mind. On the side of the defense,
I like Dark Matter going for the Widow.
I like that as well. I think it gives you a lot more room to cover the boat, protect your pirate ship. Oh, look at Danny's positioning here. Danny looking really aggressive. I think they're expecting the pirate ship, and they're going to want to try and deny them from getting set up on the cart. As you can see, Danny set up in this first shack on the front right-hand side from the attacker's POV. And yeah, they are just going to pounce right on top of them. As soon as Ignition comes out of the door, Danny Defeato is right there. We're going to get that Immortality Field coming out from Ignition as they try to make their way on the objective. Dark Matter finds an opening pick as well as Fire. And I think they've gotten their feet planted. Maywell coming out from Stone. But it just gives Fire a little bit more of a sight over the rest of the battlefield. What a crazy beginning here to this fight. Ignition finally able to get planted and get this pirate ship moving.
It's an odd fight start for Defeato. They get the huge roll off the Bastion, able to get any damage at the start of the fight. They also have 3 tanks, 3 characters just sitting in front of them, and they don't focus them down properly, do not get the kills. Then Bastion fires, she's like, hello, you forgot about me? I'm not walled off anymore. And he kills and destroys the rest of Defeato.
And now this pirate ship has made its way around the final corner of point A here. Overtime Wick is a burning. So this is do or die for Ignition. And DPS Rio opened things up. Is able to get a kill on Super. They're able to find the kill onto that Bastion as well. A last-ditch effort as Bikaros wezzes the Bastion, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 59 meters is what Ignition will have to settle for, and is the win condition for Danny Defeato to take this match home.
Yeah, definitely unique engagement. They throw the immortality field over. Hope he can get in on those tanks of the Bastion, and he does. He picks up Super Haddock at the start of the fight, and Defeato able to halt that pirate ship in its tracks. It will not be setting sail today. Defeato now have 3 minutes to work with on the clock to push just a couple of corners here on Junkertown.
And with that kind of a time bank, of course, you can just play very conservatively, build up your ultimates, and then just throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. So we'll see if Ignition can survive this.
Or you can just press Blizzard.
Or just throw a Blizzard. Good news for Ignition. Navi is sticking with that Diva here for this final defense coming out of Ignition on this map.
I have to say, Navi's looked really good on that Orisa though. When they've been running these double shield compositions,
I'd have to
they've
agree with
looked
that.
really good.
Yeah.
But when they're trying to branch out their tank compositions, they look like they've kind of struggled. And I think I kind of thought that before in the T9 tournament. They looked really good on double shield, but when they swapped it up, they looked kind of dodgy and weren't able to kind of rotate with that protect ban hero system. Here, when they're able to run that double shield, they look really, really strong. And I think if they can engineer that into their main composition heading into MTT7, they can look really good.
We are getting the Rhine Diva coming out of the offense. Defeato just going right up the middle here. Not looking for anything incredibly fancy. Nice wall comes out. That's going to divide Super off from the rest of the team. Can they get the follow-up on it? He does go down low, but the heals are there. Navy with first pick, though, able to find DPS Rio. And that is a great start. They're on the side of the defense. They're looking to hold off this attack for Danny Defeato.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, we saw Ryu on that first point the first time Defeato were doing that offense. Cleared 2 heads immediately because they had nothing to contest him other than the McCree of Dark Matter. But now they have Navi on their Diva. It's amazing to see what difference he can make contesting Ryu. Unfortunately, though, Engage is too hard there. Gets picked off. Speaking of getting picked off, Super Haddock gets frozen, but is managing to stay alive thanks to the huge heal from Bearman. Here comes the Coalescence as they try to keep it in, but here comes the Blizzard. It looked real good for Defeato. The tanks are split up from the rest of their team, but Ignition fighting on.
Yeah, Super Haddock throwing down an Earthshatter, and then they're able to find the kill on the Raven. I think that's going to enable them to survive just a little bit longer here. Navi going in, trying to contest Ryu on that Widowmaker, but gets demeched in the process, overextending and finding himself surrounded by the members of Danny Defeato. In the meantime, Airborne throwing a Diva Bomb into the back line of Ignition, and that finds the Lucio there. And here comes Blizzard as Ignition looks to counterpunch back, and they're going to get the kill onto Raven. Airborne is frozen as well on that Diva. They've almost got the demech. He's trying to fly out. I think he's just barely going to be able to escape with a little help from the Ignition May.
Navi coming back, he's unable to contest Ryu though because Ryu has just killed 2 and with no Diva there to deal with it, it's becoming a big problem, but here comes Navi back.
Well, we had an Earthshatter coming out from the other side, but a wonderful Immortality Field comes out of Nexi, able to keep that team alive, and now he's going to drop a damage matrix into the field there. And with that extra double damage out, they are able to find those kills, and it does look like Danny Defeato will march this thing on home, take Junkertown, and with this, they will take the match. One last effort here. Can Ignition get back to touch? They do manage to contest, but we are going to get Blizzard coming out of Danny Defeato. They throw an impromptu Immortality Field out, and they clean up that point. Airborne and Danny Defeato will take our opening match here in our Tier 3 showcase.
You definitely read Airborne took the match because of the video pack, and I'm very, very proud to you. On a serious note, Defeato engaging really well against that double shield composition. Of course, they had that one slip up where they didn't have the best focus fire, but once Ignition switched to that D.Va against the Widowmaker, Ryu looked a little bit more lost, but without that D.Va control, Ryu was able to click two heads and Defeato were able to move forward and collect the rest of the map. But Ignition still looked good in this series at times. When they were running that double shield defense, they looked really, really strong. So I think both of these teams looking promising.
Absolutely. And both teams with some good things to walk away from this match. In the end, Danny Defeato will take it 3-1. But again, it's just a learning experience and a good insight into these rosters with our 7th MTT just over 2 weeks away. Well, y'all don't go anywhere. Y'all stick around. I believe we got a second matchup coming up here for you. You know, I better go ahead and verify this while I've got everybody on the line. Big thanks to our teams here for showing up, participating here in our Tier 3 showcase, giving us a look inside their new rosters. We really appreciate that. Ocean, I appreciate you being here to help me out, helping cast.
Yeah, it's definitely been exciting. You know, getting a little sneaky preview of these, because this is it. You know, this is probably one of the biggest tournaments of the years. We also LXS next week. It's an exciting time to be a console watch fan. It's an exciting time to be a console watch caster. I'm loving it right now.